It will try to spawn a buffer of basic enemy between you and him. And those enemies are not the normal one. They're not weak. They will close their way through you faster, and they will be more resistant to your bullets.
So not only is the Apex going to be shooting echo drone-like concussion bolts at your face, but he's spawning harder to defeat enemies and just rushing at you over and over again. That's a crazy design, and I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see it in the demo, but the players, I'm really excited to see how they're going to tackle the Apex. Now, Mac, we did see the rooters spawn up in a few of these, and these Evos will, as you were mentioning before, they spawn during the events. Why, explain to us a little bit more about why we have these events, what allows us to drive the story and drive the spawning of these bigger monsters with events.
Well, the thing about the events is, well, first we have two kinds of events. We have the predetermined ones and presets, so that you're going to make sure that every time you're going to go there, you're going to have a smasher on fire charging at you, so that's going to be pretty scary. But we also have the systemic events. The idea behind the systemic events is that we wanted to make sure that the players don't know what's going to be happening. So sometimes you're going to go and it's going to be a smasher, sometimes it's going to be an Apex, and when you're going to crank up the difficulty, it actually might be two of them at the same time.
So two smashers or two rooters at the same time on harder difficulties.
Actually, and 4 routers.
4 rooters.
Yeah,
4 rooters. That would be insane to see.
Yeah.
Because you had difficulty taking down just one, and imagine if you have 4 of those guys running at you.
It's absolute chaos. Yeah.
Now, obviously, with all these monsters that you're going to be facing, we're going to have bigger maps and have different maps. Talk to us a little bit about the challenges behind the level design that you faced when creating these 3 maps.
Well, the thing is that at first, one of the first things we realized is that, okay, so we have these new enemies that are very interesting to play with. We need a context. So we started by putting them in the house just to see what had happened. And we saw basically in a very beautiful setup in the house, everything was getting destroyed. It was awesome to see, but it lasted about 2 to 3 minutes. So I was like, okay, so that's great, but we need to have dedicated location to those enemies. So that's how we came up with maps that are much bigger than what we have today. So the first map...
So let's talk about exactly how big those maps are. Because you mentioned house.
Verschiedene
that is sort of a
Zombie-Mutanten vorgezeigt, also Alien-Mutanten und so.
Well, if you compare on the house, you see it on the left side. The house is maybe 33 by 21 meter, and on the right you have up to scale the size of the first part of hospital. So the size difference is actually pretty huge.
That's a huge comparison. Of course, that is only one part of the level.
Yes.
And that's the one part that you actually played in the demo.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and of course we also have new objectives there. You had to save the doctor, but it was a little bit different than what we're used to in terms of hostage rescue, where you just grab her and run, but now it's actually a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, we had to expand on the how do you call it, the objective system. So before, like you said, we had you go in, you grab the hostage, you get out, that's it, you have victory. Well, if you want to create a long 20 to 30 minutes experience, of course you're going to have to expand on that. So as you can see in the demo we played today, which was the first part, that was actually just to get to the hostage. But when you get to the hostage, you're not done. You just don't go out right away. You actually have to take her, do stuff for her, then you can get out.
Yeah, and absolutely, because we were creating these new scenarios for players to actually interact with the game and interact with these objectives, we had to introduce attackers and defenders in the same gameplay. Talk to us a little bit about the design of that. What changes when we have attackers and defenders on the same page?
Well, that's a choice we had to make. It's like, okay, so now we have these new maps, we have these new enemies, but who do we bring? And at first it was like, okay, attackers or defenders, and how would we do with it? And the answer was obvious. Well, for the first time, let's bring both of them together and give them an opportunity to play Tachanka and Ash at the same time.
Tachanka and Ash, or Tachanka and Buck as you were playing.
Exactly.
And we're going to be breaking down exactly a little bit more about the technical reasons behind that as well with Irvin. But this Parasite really provides us a little bit more freedom of design as we're approaching Rainbow Six Siege characters and gameplay and destructibility, right?
Oh yeah, the Parasite is great because it's finally the thing that allows us to break the rules. For once, we're able to spawn enemies in a new different ways. You're able to face off hordes of enemies. Like you could have seen in the demo earlier, we actually had to take out a lot more enemies than we used to have in Terror Hunt, so the numbers are like almost like 150 if you look. And at the same time, this allows us to create these new kinds of environments. So you'll see in other maps, especially the Parasite is present everywhere. We do a lot of more outdoors and it's a lot more exotic.
Yeah, and I think the big comparison is, you know, you're going to have a ton of monsters running at you. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be insane on these larger maps. And let's take a look at the 3 maps that we have here. We have Resort, Hospital, and Junkyard. Let's start off with Resort. And Lucian, run us through a little bit of the backstory of Resort.
The resort is a hot springs resort in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and what happens is it is now the heart of the nest of the parasite. This is where its archetypes come out. This is where it evolves to counter what you throw at it.
Absolutely. And Mac, how does this play as a map?
Well, Resort is the map that we wanted to play as a homage to our siege maps, in the sense that it starts very much like you would do in a disarm the bomb scenario, but this time we're twisting it so you actually have to go and plant bombs. And once you're done, it's not finished. You actually have to go through the city of Truth of Consequences and a very outdoor environment.
And those objectives are integrated into the map, into the game, with a little bit of more story, a little bit more storytelling that players are going to be used to as well. And now let's take a look at Hospital, our second map. Lucian, this is really kind of an intense map.
This is an intense map because what happens is you've got Dr. McIntosh. She was there when the outbreak first started happening. She worked with the CDC teams. She's managed to remain uninfected. And if there's anybody that has any information, it's her, but she's trapped in the hospital.
Obviously, we saw a lot of this doctor in some of the teaser assets that were released leading up to Outbreak. Mac, how does that map play?
Well, as you saw in the demo, this is a map where we took the CQB to the next level. It's very close quarter. You have to go through those corridors, very difficult. And also, it's where we expanded on the concept of hostage rescue, and we took it to the next level where it takes time to get to the hostage, and once you got her, it's not done. You actually have to do stuff before you're able to exfiltrate on the rooftop.
And finally, we have Junkyard, which is really kind of the start of it all, right?
Start and end of it all. The junkyard, the nest, is essentially where the capsule is located, and that is what you're going to be going after. It's at the heart of all of this. So you take this down, you may be able to finally fight all of this and stop the infection.
Mac, I imagine there's going to be a lot of monsters here in the junkyard.
Oh, absolutely. This is the heart of the nest. So you can see the environment is very parasited. It feels out of this world. And it's time to take off the training wheels. You're there to blow stuff up.
Blow stuff up in Junkyard. Maybe plant that Tachanka turret and just unleash hell.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to figure out, when were the training wheels on?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, Irvin, you're going to be playing on these larger maps with more monsters, more difficult monsters. But not only that, you're going to be only playing with 3 players. Why are we limiting it to only 3 players instead of the normal 5?
We have that very grim and most claustrophobic setup of the parasite's infection. And we wanted to just increase a bit the drama. And if you have like only 3 players, everyone become key to the success or to the failure. I mean, you need to work together as much as possible. No one can carry the team. You're only 3 and there's 100 of monsters coming at you.
Puts more value on each person, making each of them more important in this scenario. And on top of all of the monsters, all the different mechanics, there's also a different way of playing stealth. As we saw with Mac, they approached crouching, and then all of a sudden the monsters were aware. So explain to us a little bit more how stealth works in Outbreak.
Yeah, the stealth was a bit improved from the Terror Hunt. We basically closed the stealth loop. In Terror Hunt, you go from, oh, I'm undetected, to I'm detected and they will never forget about me. But our maps are a lot bigger with a lot more enemies. So we wanted to give you an opportunity to basically take your breath back and grab some ammo, heal that wounded guys in your team. So we have that mechanic, like you can come back to an hiding place and try back your advance in a more stealth way if you want.
As we discussed earlier, there is that unaware and aware state, and you can go back and forth in between them. in Outbreak, this sort of stealth loop that you're talking about allows the players to be a little bit more creative with their strategy. And on top of this, we the gadgets that players are normally used to, like flashbangs and smoke, interact with enemies in a little bit of a different manner. Briefly explain how those change.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep the core mechanics from Siege. You don't learn to play your operator differently. You use them with the same gadget the same way. But the effect may differ and make you able to use those new stealth dynamic and those new takedown mechanics you have seen during the demo.
Of course, the same tools that you're used to, you're not going to be learning a whole new game how to play Siege again. It's still the same Siege, but just a few little wrinkles that you're going to be able to experience once you get your hands on Outbreak.
And experiment.
And experiment. And of course, we've been talking about these two different difficulty levels. Explain to us what these difficulty levels are, regular and pandemic.
Well, if you don't want to die in front of your streamers, those guys there, others there, you play normal. If you want to enjoy the real experience of Outbreak, of course you play in Pandemic. You will be able to not only enjoy sometimes a mix between various special archetypes, like for example, two router assisting the smatcher into smatching you. You will see that the enemy are a lot more resistant, but the top archetype, you will discover a new one just for Pandemic. Your teammates. It's the best one as doing a net shot because the friendly fire will be enabled.
Right, for the first time actually in normal mode in Outbreak, there won't be friendly fire enabled. But in Pandemic, friendly fire is enabled, so if you're tossing a grenade, shooting ash, breaching, charge, it's going to create even more chaos than a breacher running at you, for example. And of course, with the Pandemic mode, there are going to be exclusive Ubisoft Club Challenge rewards, and we're going to take a quick look at some of these rewards. They are so cool looking in-game. They can be used in both PvP and PvE, of course, and they're kind of glowing, and there's going to be one per week, actually, and there is even going to be one leading up to the launch of Outbreak. So these are going to be exclusive for beating Pandemic mode in the game, which is really going to be kind of a cool reward once you receive those. All right, so talking about the operators, going back to the operators, we have a select limited amount of operators. Why are we only limiting it to a certain amount?
There's two factors. First, the fan service, and the fact that Vitaly is very big as a man and I'm small. So of course there's Chenka in the game. But also, instead of just the fan service, we have to find the right operator to have a synergy inside the Outbreak operation. And for example, Twitch with her drone zapping grunts would have been funny to see, but a bit useless. And then, as I said, the three operators are key to the drama. Each one is a key player, so they need to really separate their role. And you need someone to maintain the team alive, like Doc or the new operator Finca, which excel at that. You need, with that swarm of enemy coming at you, some good crowd control operator, like Ying, for example, or the new Lion operator to help you manage the amount of enemy coming. And of course, you need the damage dealer. And for that, we bring the Russians, of course.
The Russians, so Tachanka, Kapkan, and Glaz are all going to be playable in this.
Outbreak was just designed for Tachanka. It's Operation
Yes,
Chenka in real.
Operation Tachanka. Yeah, no, I think we're going to see a lot of different gameplay and not changing the way that operators are played.
Servus,
one of the reasons why
Tobias,
Thermite is
around.
not actually playable. But he is going to be in there, as Lucian's going to be sort of talking about. But he is going to be in there. But talk a little bit about why we didn't want Thermite playable in
Das
Outbreak.
kommt
Ja.
vielleicht morgen.
Your enemies are not barricaded.
Wir schauen jetzt
So if we wanted to have
den
Thermite
Livestream
as a
hier
useful
dazu
operator, we
von
would
Rainbow
have
Six.
changed basically his gadget. Well, Thermite without the Thermite charge, really? And we want you to enjoy your operator, the way you play them into Outbreak. We're not bringing a clone of them in Outbreak. We're bringing your operator, your main operators into the games. So they had to be useful. They had to make sense into it.
the main operators, and also your fan favorite operators like we've seen in the CG trailers with Ash, Thermite, Tachanka, and even Doc in that opening CG trailer. Lucian, talk a little bit about why we selected this all-star cast of Rainbow Six operators.
No, first of all, in all fairness, I did try to give Thermite a nuke. So, you know, I did try to include him in on this. So, look, as far as the operators that we have are concerned, there was kind of a split in how we approached it. The first one was, who are our most popular operators? Who are the operators that the fans know and love and have been there from the beginning? And Ash was at the top of the list. That community love, and without having Tachanka in it was just an absolute no-go. So we obviously included him, and then there was also a little bit of a personal choice because I had to put in Thermite because I went to high school in Houston, Texas, and you know he's from Texas, so I was like, okay, he's an Aggie. I've got to give some love there.
Absolutely, but it's beyond just that as well because we saw Ash and Thermite becoming more than just characters, standalone characters. Their relationships are building in these CG trailers as they're talking, as Thermite wants to just nuke the town of Truth or Consequences. And Ash is like, oh, hold up a second, you know, we can think about this, but let's back off from that option.
Right, and the thing is that also, the other thing is that we wanted to see operators that we never had a chance to see visually before. So Thermite, Doc, you know, we finally take the helmet off, we take off the welder's goggles, and we have our characters there. We actually got to play with on screen and sort of the community. The thing is that when we had them on set, especially with, let's say, Patricia, who's playing Ash, and with Thermite, who's played by Carlo, there was a really good dynamic that we had on set there. We had a lot of different scenes written. They played off of each other, and this kind of almost brotherly, sisterly thing ended up by playing off with each other. As a matter of fact, one of the inside jokes even made it into the Elite Ash
winning screen
exactly, where she does that, because in a lot of animations, every time she was interrupting Thermite, she was doing this all the time. So we're like, okay, that's got to go in the game as well now.
So really, did some of the personality of these characters, of these operators, come about because of the actors behind them?
It was a complete melange of different things. It was the actors, how they played them, but it was also who the characters were, who they were in this situation, how they relied on each other, what were the dynamics there, but also who they were to the community. You know, the community with the artwork and the cosplay and everything has really informed a lot of who these characters are, especially since these characters kind of almost existed in a small bit of a vacuum when they were first created, in terms of they never really interacted with each other. There was some crossover, but it was mostly CTU related. And then suddenly we had the ability to do CGIs with them and mix and match them within CGI. So we got to see who they were together, and that was the most important part.
That was the most important part of putting these guys together, as we mentioned on the Universe panel. Relationships are going to be so important moving forward as the community has embraced creating relationships around these characters. We wanted to expand on that and really create something a little bit more official, create these CG trailers that bring out the life of our characters so much.
Well, the thing is that you mentioned moving forward, and that's a really crucial point, because moving forward, we now have a Universe team in place. Farah, who you've interviewed earlier, she is a part of the Universe team, along with myself, along with 2 other writers. We have artists, we have scripters. We are exploring all the different ways that we can now start exploring these characters. And the important thing, like I mentioned before, is our characters existed alone, and we now want them to exist together, to see who they are. Because the important thing for us is that they may agree, they may disagree, there may be some friction between them. But in the end, what's important is how they get together, and in the end, during operations, during these training scenarios,
das ist nicht langweilig, das ist gute Information, weil ich ja auch Rainbow Six Siege zock.
But then we also want to explore a little bit more outside of that and play a bit with that as well.
So play a little bit more with the characters, introduce them in new, different scenarios,
like we're doing Outbreak,
and introduce them in a new light where
players
can
wir schauen noch
kind of relate to them a little
also
bit
noch
more
so 11
and actually
Minuten
see
schauen wir noch zu.
operators
Und
interacting
dann
with each
mache
other. And I think that is so
starte ich einen neuen
important,
Stream
as we see
für
with Ash,
Clash Royale.
Thermite, and even Tachanka being there, where he's kind of cracking jokes, and his personality is coming out a little bit more. And then we even see Doc in there being more one of those more humanitarians.
Right, and that's the important thing, is that with Doc, he actually really provided a really awesome counterpoint, because you have Thermite saying, why don't we just nuke them? And now you have Doc who's contending that and demanding more out of Ash. And Ash, as sort of first boots on the ground for 6, is becoming more and more important to Rainbow Six and to the other operators as well. So we really want to be able to showcase those operators, and now the question is, and that's the question that the Universe team is exploring, how do we do that?
How do we evolve those characters for the future, moving beyond Outbreak, moving into year 3, and building those connections, building those storylines that the players have been really embracing, and really, I mean, this is all about the community, all about providing the community with entertainment value for our operators, and really creating this world.
Yeah, the thing is that the community is the one that's been doing the heavy lifting. I mean, if you think about it, the initial bios that came out were about maybe a paragraph to 2 paragraphs long. The ones that have really informed who the characterizations are have come from the community. The who interacts with whom is, I probably just screwed that one up, but who interacts with who has actually been a major thing that the community has helped bring up and build. And we want to play off of that, and we want the community to be involved. We are listening, we are watching, we are learning. Some of the steps that we take may go off in a direction that they don't appreciate, and we may realize, oh, maybe we didn't mean to go there, or maybe we shouldn't have gone there. And in other points, we're going in directions, and the community has reacted really positively. And I love that dynamic. I love that relationship. The live team gives you this instant level of feedback and a much closer interaction with the community out there, and it's just a fantastic experience.
It's amazing, an amazing community. Rainbow Six Siege's community is one of the most amazing that I've worked with, and Outbreak is here for you guys. This is why we're doing it. And so that is a look at Outbreak, coming to you on March 6th for 4 weeks, and live on the test servers on February 20th. Of course, there are just a few other things that are going to be live on March 6th. We have the Ash Elite skin that will be arriving in the Outbreak packs. We have this Outbreak collection that we are launching with 50 packs available. And the Ash Elite skin will be available in that. So on top of the free one that you're going to be able to get from playing the game, for playing one game before March 6th, you're also going to be able to get an Ash Elite skin that has a different variation. You're also going to be able to get everything from weapon charms to weapon skins to full BDU body dress units with headgear and charms, all within the Outbreak packs. And of course, if you play Outbreak when it's live, you will get 4 free Outbreak packs, and they will be available in-game for our 6 credits. And this is something that we're going to be tying in. There's obviously a little bit of storyline here that ties in the operators to the Outbreak packs.
Right, and that's what you're going to be seeing more of, is we're going to use every opportunity and every little thing that we can in order to tie in whatever we release into the lore, into the operators. We want there to be a closer connection between all of the stuff that you see, that you pick up. We want it to resonate with you, so that if a player puts on something, they understand where it fits in that character lore, or why it's important, or how they manage to participate in an event.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that said, that is Outbreak, coming to you once again on March 6th for 4 weeks, and on the test servers starting February 20th. Thank you so much to my amazing guests. Please give them a big round of applause. Don't go anywhere. We have the grand finals match between EG and Penta Sports coming up right after this.
Ja, was ist, Tobias? Ja, gleich.
Welcome to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. This sleepy desert town is ground zero for Outbreak, a special Rainbow Six Siege co-op event that pits your team of up to 3 intrepid operators against hordes of, well, these guys. These mutated abominations will do everything in their power to stop you from accomplishing your objectives as you follow the story of Team Rainbow's efforts to quell the carnage and uncover the truth. So you'll need to adapt your tactics if you want to survive. Because the infected are coming for you. Sure, they might look like they're just standing around having a bad time, but if you can't take them out before they spot you, you're gonna have a bad time. Equipping a suppressor can help you sneak through certain areas without causing a fuss, but sooner or later, some grunt is gonna pop off and text all their grunt buddies to come swarm you.
So in 2 Minuten kommt CR.
Breachers love to leap around, looking to explode themselves next to you or destroy your reinforcements. Keep an eye out for the telltale bubbles on the wall, and make them respect your personal space with a quick melee hit if they get too close. You'll also have to contend with rooters, who zip around evasively and hassle you with spikes conjured from below, which hold you in place until you or a teammate can shoot the offending rooter. Then there's the Apex. They just kind of hang back, making you weaker and making every enemy stronger, and occasionally splashing you in the face with uncanny smoke that would make smoke jealous. And the Smasher? Well, it's right there in the name. It can't see you, but it sure can hit you or run you right over. Try luring it into ramming itself into a wall so you can more easily shoot or stab it right in the weak spot. If you and your teammates manage to complete Outbreak on normal difficulty, take a whack at Pandemic, where friendly fire and more numerous enemies make things extra tough. No matter which difficulty level you take on, you'll be choosing your operators from a carefully curated group with the gadgets and weaponry to give you an edge in the crisis. Choose Doc for his super clutch stim pistol. Take Smoke and his beauties to hold the hordes at bay, and then bring Finka to juice you up so you can gun them down. Finka is one of the new Operation Chimera operators, and Lion is the other. His drone can scan the area and show you where the nearest threats are, but remember, you've only got 3 slots on the team. You can run it with less than 3, but it gets much, much harder. Unless you happen to be some sort of siege deity with godlike powers of destruction.
LMG, mounted and loaded!
Outbreak will be available for a limited time only, 4 weeks from March 6th to April 3rd on all platforms. And while it may seem strange at first to fire so many bullets so frequently in Rainbow Six Siege, you'll soon have a new appreciation for LMGs and shotguns, and basically anything that shoots bullets at these horrible abominations. For more on Rainbow Six Siege, subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com. Behind these doors, players at the Six Invitational have been getting the chance to play Outbreak early. Some of them multiple times because they just keep getting in line over and over and over again. Let's hear what they thought. So tell me which operator you ran when you played Outbreak.
I played Lion.
Well, I went Smoke. He's my favorite operator.
I picked Ash.
I was playing Doc.
The new Russian one, Finka.
How was your Outbreak experience?
Outbreak was really fun. It's very difficult when you're first going in. There's a lot of different mobs and zombies that you kind of have to... It's unexpected. Definitely the Rooter is the challenge you need to watch out for. They teleport everywhere and you have no clue where they're going. We got pretty lucky that they let us do Pandemic, so it's the hardest difficulty, basically realistic of Terror Stunt, and it makes 2 rooters, so it's pretty difficult.
What did you think of the maps roaming around those big open spaces?
So it was a nice change, and I enjoyed it. The maps didn't feel too open, they didn't feel too cluttered or anything. It was a nice balance,
so,
you know, multiple objects, cover, I could hide and everything. I enjoyed it, yeah.
In Outbreak, there's a lot of new enemies coming at you that you don't normally see in Siege. How did they go?
It was weird. I at first I was like, what is that? It's so weird. It's like an ugly big beast with something in the back, and you have to make sure you shoot in the back. But other than that, it was really weird. I'm like, oh, this is cool. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Did you find that team coordination was important?
Very much so. If you were by yourself, and there was a few cases where we kind of separated, and then we were kind of doing our own thing.
Viele Accounts, ich habe, ich glaube 4 Stück. 4 Accounts habe ich. Ich schreibe ungern mit Leuten über WhatsApp, wo ich nicht so gut kenne. Deswegen gebe ich auch nicht meine Nummer so gerne her. Und schreib mich über, wenn du Insta hast, kannst mich ja da anschreiben. Es ist momentan mein Deck. Wenn du mit mir Clash Royale zocken willst, unten ist der Link im Livestream-Chat. Und jo. Ja, schon, aber okay. Ja, ich zocke erstmal noch ein bisschen. Och nö, Level 12 war auch noch. Servus, Carsten. Natürlich ein Ofenplayer. Fuck, Alter. Fuck, Alter. Shit. Nice, die Skelette, die machen Damage. What the fuck? Digga. Habt ihr das gesehen? Der hat die Skelette nicht verteidigt. Was für ein Noob. What the fuck, Alter? Hä? Warum hat er nicht die Skelette verteidigt? Die haben ja ultimativen Schaden gemacht. Alter. Digga. Tut mir leid. Meine Accounts sind zu teuer für dich. Weil das hier ist mein Hauptaccount, der ist schon 500 Euro wert. Weil die sind wirklich ein bisschen zu teuer für dich, wahrscheinlich. Alles klar, der hat aufgegeben, der Gegner. Nice. Okay. Hier ist momentan mein Stand mit Kronen sammeln. Also Gree ist der, wo eigentlich glaubt die ganze Zeit suchtet. Seit langem streame ich mal wieder. Tut mir leid, dass letzte Zeit nicht mehr so oft die Streams gekommen sind. Weil ich hier hauptsächlich Fortnite und Rainbow Six Siege gesuchtet habe. Und jo. Alles klar. Das ist bitter. Boah, da hatte ich ja nochmal Glück. WhatsApp kommt. Yeah. Habt ihr das gerade gesehen? Ich konnte gerade so noch den Packer. Oh, der kriegt wenigstens noch einen Damage raus. Nice. Nice. Besser kann's nicht laufen. Schauen, vielleicht geht jetzt wieder Road to 4K. Nice. Alter, der müsste doch jetzt aufgeben. Was ich als Epic anfordere. Es ist manchmal unterschiedlich. Die Epics, wo ich eigentlich zum Teil gerne zock. Nice. Alter, da konnte der Gegner nichts mehr machen. So, Clan-Truhe 9. Und die wird auch morgen schon geöffnet. Was ich heute angefordert habe. Natürlich den Packer. Weil der Packer muss auch noch Richtung Level 6 gehen und danach der Poison. Ich warte aber die ganze Zeit, dass da. Stimmt ja, eigentlich wollte ich die auch noch kaufen. Egal. Ich warte, bis da so eine gute legendäre Karte ist. Zum Beispiel der Inferno-Drache. Weil den brauche ich. Weil ich will da ein gutes Deck machen. Und als normale Karte, was ich da anfordere. Das ist unterschiedlich. Hier siehst du, was ich da alles upgraden kann. Wenn ich das alles abgegradet habe, bin ich wahrscheinlich schon bei der Hälfte für Level 13. Hier unten kann ich leider nichts mehr upgraden. Die Karten fehlen mir noch und ich will unbedingt die Karte haben. Oder vielleicht auch die. Servus. Emmy Clash. Was geht? Nice. Naja, ich habe erst 42k Gold. Also, oh, noch ein Level 6 Golem. Digga. So, bin wieder da. Und fast. Okay, ich bin auch krank. What? Level 3 Bandit. Alter. Fuck. Alter. Alter. Was ist das für ein Abfucker? No way, Alter. Da konnte ich echt nichts mehr machen. Alter, der haut mir richtig auf die Fresse, der Gegner. Alter. Von dem bekomme ich echt einen auf den Sack. Und noch ein Inferno. Digga, will der mich verarschen? Alter, ich hab gleich keinen Bock mehr auf CR. Wenn so ein Abfucker kommt. Auch so eine Scheiße, Alter. Level 11 hat ein Level 3 Banditen. Ey, das glaube ich nicht. Fuck. Oh, jetzt bin ich da drauf gekommen. Ich hatte schon mal 4K-Pokis, aber letzte Zeit packe ich die nicht mehr. Wenigstens guten Damage, Alter. Wir haben ungefähr gleich auf. Ja, das war jetzt scheiße gespielt von mir. Warum soll ich dich anschreiben? Digga, ich will nicht, dass jeder von meine Nummer hat, Alter. Verstehst doch einfach. Ja, ein Match versuche ich noch. Ey, wenn der auch so abverkackt hat. Okay. What? Alter. Der hat diese Karte. Never. Ich träume gerade. Ich sehe die Karte nicht. Siehst du hier so eine Karte? Alter. Der hat Abfuckern. Mann. Der spielt hier so ein Scheißdeck, Alter. Alter, wenn ich den sehe, Alter, den reiß ich den Kopf ab, Alter. Das ist nicht mehr normal. Digga, der macht mich kaputt.